Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I want to talk about something that I've noticed about living in Britain for a while. There are these little unspoken rules that everyone here in the UK just knows and seems to follow. Nobody teaches them, nobody writes them down, but somehow everybody just knows. As an American living here and trying to adjust to the culture and trying to fit in as much as possible and trying not to offend in any way, let me tell you, half of these rules don't really even make sense to me. But if you break them, you'll feel that silent judgment radiating from the entire room. I'm going to walk you through the 9 unspoken rules that British people live by, rules that Americans would most likely find completely odd. I know I did. Definitely baffling, sometimes hilarious. But I think that by the end, you'll understand a little bit more how these little rituals and rules tend to form the quiet backbone that is British social life. Number 1, never take the last biscuit. Imagine you're at a friend's house and there's a plate of chocolate bourbons. So you're at a friend's house, you've had the ceremonial cup of tea, and there's a plate of bourbons, which are amazing. And there's one lonely survivor sitting there on the plate. In the US, I hate to admit it, but it's probably customary that the person will just take it and eat it. It's been offered to everybody. I'm going to take that before someone else gets it kind of mentality. Here in Great Britain, nah, that is not going to fly. Before anyone dares to touch it, there's a ritual. Would anyone else like the last biscuit? Cue a chorus of, oh no, go ahead, don't worry about it, take it, it's fine. Even though everyone secretly wants it, they're way too polite to admit it since you've brought it up. And it isn't really about the biscuit, it's about the politeness, it's about manners. Americans see cookies, I want. Brits see a moral test. And once you know this, then you start noticing it, that once you pick up on this, you'll start noticing what every other tiny everyday acts are really just secret tests of politeness. For example, the next one, keeping opinions quiet in public. In the United States, you can't go anywhere in public without overhearing someone passionately debating a topic of the day. Taxes, American football, the meaning of life, their religion, their job, anything they can think of. Americans are loud. Americans want to be heard. In Great Britain, dead silence. Cough. Everyone's got their AirPods in. Everyone's listening to something. No one's really paying attention to each other. You just go about your day. Where in certain areas you might get a polite smile and a hello, and maybe if you're familiar with them, have a 2-second stop, hey, how are you conversation, but most of the time, and weather will be definitely factored in there in that conversation at some point, but most of the time, it's just silence, people going about their day. Politics, religion, scandals, all of those opinions are kept to yourself in public. For British people, restraint is kind of grace. For Americans, though, it does feel like someone hit the mute button on society. You just don't you're not used to it. You always expect someone to just be open and brazen about their opinions from an American perspective. So if silence is golden here in the UK, then what happens if someone breaks it? Then you get the passive-aggressive touch. Okay, so you're out in public, you're standing in line at Costa to get a coffee, and someone comes in and just gets in front of you. In America, you'll get an angry rant, you'll get people yelling probably, maybe even making a huge scene. In Britain, you will get heavy sighs, you will get dirty looks, and you'll get the little passive-aggressive touch. Now, that tiny sound hits harder to me than a shouting match. I mean, I'm American. I grew up there. I'm loud as well. So I'm used to all of that noise being around me. So I can kind of tune that out. But when I hear the silent judging of the tut, I know I've done something wrong. And it could be completely unintentional. They'll clear their throat. They'll give you a look. They'll, slightly out of line to just kind of make you acknowledge. Even the people behind the counter will be like, I think that you need to go to the back of the line. Again, it's Britain, so they will be very polite about it. But it is the ultimate form of judgment when you hear that. And it is quiet and controlled, but absolutely devastating and really, really embarrassing. It's happened to me many times. I've never intentionally cut the line here. However, I've done it accidentally several times because of these unspoken rules that I'm not familiar with, and have heard that many. Then you have the social interaction of walking past someone. In America, there's, as I mentioned in the previous segment, it's very open about talking even to strangers. If you're passing someone on the street, you will definitely smile at them, say, hey, how are you? And then all of a sudden you're in this like exchange. In the UK, it's just simpler. You don't really have conversations unless, like I had mentioned before, you are familiar with that person in some way. You have a nod, half smile at best, and a soft, hey, you're all right, and that's it. I will demonstrate. And then maybe you're all right as you pass. Then it's done. Basically, you just go something like this. You all right? Barely even looking at them. That's pretty much how it goes. Very, very different for me because I was used to being friendly and looking at people in the eye and acknowledging them on the street. To me, that's what, as I grew up, that's what was polite. Definitely not always so common here. I know, and I've been told that in other places, in other areas of the UK, it is much friendlier and that is much more common to do that. But at least where I am in the southeast area of England, it is not. It's not a conversation. No one expects you to stop and ask about the weather. It's an acknowledgement of the person that you're passing on the street. And it's the quickest, cleanest social interaction you'll ever have. Next, we have the pub contract. Buying drinks in British pubs seems fairly straightforward. You order, you pay, you drink. Not much different than the United States, right? Not quite. You enter the unspoken world of rounds. You don't just go up, buy a drink, pay for it, and drink it. Especially if you're with other people, you buy rounds. If you're with other people, it's all about the round. If someone buys you a pint, you must buy them one later, or at least offer. And if you forget to do that, it's pretty much social treason. In the United States, we do a lot of things like pay for our own, split the check, pay for what we had. In Britain, you're bound by the eternal cycle of rounds when you're in the pub until everyone's pretty much stumbling home. It's just a social thing again. It's a community thing. It's a, an acknowledgement that there's other people in the world. And if you're all in the pub, then you're all there to have a good time. Most of the time, you're all there to relieve stress or whatever. And it's usually your local pub. And your local pub is usually filled with someone that you know and part of your community. So you need to acknowledge that and respect that. Next, we have the thank you chain. If you're stepping off public transportation, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a tube, the bus, a train, you need to make sure that you say thank you to the conductor, to the driver, whomever that you pass. In the US, you'll be lucky if you get a nod and a wave. It's just how it is. They don't mean it to be rude necessarily. I guess some people would mean it to be rude, but they normally it's just you're doing your job. I'm just going to let you do your job, kind of matter of fact. But here in the UK, it is frowned upon. That's actually an understatement. It is really, really, if you don't follow the proper etiquette of thanking the person that just provided the service for you, you're considered a bad person. You're very much judged as well. Every single passenger that I know says thank you to the bus driver, says thank you to the conductor. One after the other. Thanks, cheers, appreciate it, driver. Thanks, driver. Have a good one. It's something. It's like a course of politeness as you're deporting. And if you miss your line, you'll definitely be the villain of the story. Gratitude is so ingrained here in the UK. It is considered polite, and politeness goes above all in order to avoid conflict, if at all possible. So it's really important that those thank yous stretch through your entire day at whatever you're doing. The silence on the public transportation. Yeah, sometimes in the United States, when you're sitting on a train, you can kind of feel like cafeterias. People are having phone calls, people are laughing, people are arguing, and all of it's echoing through the carriage. People will even watch stuff without headphones at full volume, play music at full volume in the enclosed space of a train carriage or a tube carriage. In Britain, no, that is not acceptable. It is considered extremely rude and disrupting the herd. Silence always rules. Talking too loudly is definitely a cardinal sin. Laughter even feels a little bit suspicious, especially if it's a continued laugh. And I remember one time that I was on the train and I was listening to something. I had my AirPods in, no one else could hear it, but it was hilarious and I was cackling. And at least 2 or 3 people gave me looks, like leaned over and gave me looks. I think to make sure I was okay, and maybe they thought it was like a hyena in the seat. I don't know. But anyway, I was definitely judged and pointed out. And it was really, really uncomfortable and embarrassing. So make sure that, that's when I first realized that it's not that you're not allowed to do that or anything like that. It's just more of, you're in a public space and you have to respect that you're in a public space and acknowledge that there's other people in your space. And it's not that I was obviously trying to be rude or anything like that, but I definitely disrupted everybody's day. The unspoken pub seating rule. Okay, I did mention about the rounds and buying drinks. Now it's about the seating. If you walk into a pub, spot a free table, sit down. That's normal etiquette, right? You don't wait to be seated in most pubs unless they're serving food as well. And the problem, and it would seem benign, something that wouldn't matter so much, except in the UK it does, especially if you're in a local pub. There are some tables that are for locals and some booths that are only for groups. So if you're like 1 or 2 people and you take this booth that's meant for like 9 people, you're going to be told. If you sit in the wrong spot and it's normally a local spot, you will be told. You will feel the chill of unspoken judgment no matter what. Even if you're not, nothing is said to you. No one really tells you. You just kind of sense it. And I basically felt like I was trespassing on sacred ground. So now my rule of thumb when I'm going into a pub, when I'm on my own or when I'm with someone that maybe isn't familiar with that pub, I will find a table in the corner, a 2 or 3 person table. I will stay close to the front, like where the windows are, usually leave the bar for people that are local because they're usually friendly with the bartender, etc. And then keep the bigger tables open for bigger groups. It sounds like it's not that big a deal, but it kind of is. And it's just another one of those like invisible reserved spaces just to make sure that the locals who patron that establishment are taken care of the way they take care of that pub by being there all the time. And just acknowledging that that's their community and trying not to disrupt that vibe. Finally, we have the ritual of gift giving here in the UK. Now, handing someone a gift in the United States often comes with excitement, enthusiasm, and not just from the person receiving the gift, from the person giving the gift. Hey, here, I got this for you. You're gonna love it. Like everything is just a little bit more hyped up, right? In the US, and gift giving obviously would be no exception. In the UK, though, the ritual is pretty different. It's more like, oh, it's just a little something. Even at Christmas, you can get like a diamond necklace and someone be like, oh my God, thank you so much. This is so beautiful. I love it. And it's all right. It's so British. I can't stand it. I'm not judging it at all. I'm not putting it down at all, but it's just absolutely completely British and indicative of how different the US and UK cultures are. And if you're receiving a gift and you are over the top with it as well, you'll be brought down a notch. You shouldn't have. Honestly, I don't deserve this. It's not about the gift. It's about the thought, obviously, but it's also about humility. And it's about accepting the gift, not making it big theater, and not making a big deal about what you got or what you gave. It's about just acknowledging it, accepting it, being gracious and giving gratitude for it, but not making it all about you, which again, starkly different from the UK, which again is starkly different from how we approach things in the United States. So there you have it, the 9 unspoken British rules that all the British people I know follow, that Americans, well, this American definitely finds completely odd. I've learned to live with them. I've learned to accept them because that's the culture that I'm in. Some of them I kind of get and understand. Some of them I don't. But from biscuits to buses to the perfect pub etiquette, it's the whole invisible code thing. I'm still trying to master it, but I have faith that I will get it eventually. I do love it here in the UK, and all these little nuances and intricacies are, I think what makes the UK so unique and special. Because once you learn the rules, you realize that they're really all about one thing: keeping the peace. Quietly, politely, and ideally with a pint or a cup of tea in your hand. Thanks for listening, guys. Stay safe out there. I'll see you next time.